Hey everyone, welcome to another Nomad Hedge market update video. So it's going to be an interesting week this week because I think the dollar index here and the 10-year are going to move up a bit higher. We're going to take a look at the VIX as well and the market indices just to see where this market could be headed next week or this week. I'm actually recording this on Monday. So right in front of us, we got the DXY here, and it looks as if we got support here, right? So this level here corresponds to this fib level. Now, typically you would see wave 3 end at around 1.618 projection level. So there is still another chance that we could see another leg down here before we make another leg up here towards wave 4. So, but because we got a green candle here, it seems like we have found some short-term support here, and so the bias could now be said that we're gonna make another leg up here. And it looks somewhat similar here with the 10-year treasuries because we have completed wave 5 here, and so we saw a drawdown here to wave A, which happens to correspond to the golden ratio here, 0.618 if you measure it from wave 4. And so ultimately we are seeing some support level right here, just as the dollar index found some similar support, and we will see another sucker rally here towards wave B, and eventually we're going to see another leg down here towards wave C. Now wave C could end at around, at 3.637, and if we move this Fibonacci level down a little bit, that would also correspond somewhat to this 0.618. So the bias now, if we take a look at the 10-year and the DXY, is towards the upside. I think that we have found support here, so we could see another leg up here in the dollar and the treasury yields. But the most interesting part here is the VIX. Now if we zoom in here in a 15-minute chart, we can see we left an open gap here, so that suggests that the VIX is going to close this gap pretty soon. But going back to the daily chart, you could actually wave this thing. I mean, I do have a wave A here, potentially wave B. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and wave 5 could end at around 10 here, right? So we have two levels for wave 5. We could look at around 10.44, or if we measure this projection level, wave C would end at around 10.6. So seeing the VIX going down to 10 again is pretty remarkable. So that's bullish for now, and I still think that the major or the market index still has some leg up here, and we're going to take a look at, let's start off with the S&P 500. And we're nearing the end of this rally here, right? So we're seeing here that wave 3 ended close at 44.09 here, 0.6, and then we found support here at wave 4. And so what we could potentially be seeing now is a diagonal forming. Okay, so typically you would have wave 3 ending, and then you could look at the RSI forming a negative divergence with higher price action, and that's exactly what we're seeing. The RSI pointed overbought levels here at wave 3, and we're seeing now a negative divergence here as price move up. So we have completed wave 3 here of smaller degree, and we could possibly see another leg down here, making a wave 4, and then the last leg up here towards wave 5. Now, I'm not sure if wave 3 has ended right at this point, but considering the fact that we do have a high trend line here, so this could act as resistance. And within a diagonal, the wave 4 could overlap wave 1, so that's not a problem at all. So once wave 5 is finished, I do suspect a larger correction here for the major indices. And if we take a look at the NASDAQ, this is the composite. I still think that the NASDAQ composite still has some move higher here. And so if the S&P finds support where it is right now, or resistance, the NASDAQ composite still has some leg up here to finish up this 1.618 level, and then we could see another leg down here. So what we're seeing here is a diagonal forming, right? This is what we call a rising wedge, and as you can see here that we have negative divergence here on the RSI as well, so that suggests that we do have a diagonal forming. And so it looks pretty much similar across the board. We can take a look at the NDX as well, and so the NDX is pretty much similar here to the S&P 500, right? Finding resistance right at this high trend line. But the only thing looking bullish now is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So the Dow Jones still has some room towards the upside. I'm looking at this nested we have 3 here, 4, and then 1, 2 within this, right? So we could see potentially wave 3 ending at 1.618 at this level here, 35,100, and then correct to wave 4, and then making a leg up here towards wave 5. Now, wave 5 could end right at this high trend line, and that would correspond to around 35,644. So the only index here that looks bullish a little bit long term is the DXY, and we can also take a look at the Russell 2000. And so the Russell potentially could be forming a diagonal here as well. I do think that wave 4 has ended here at 0.236, so we can make another leg up here, and we're looking at potentially, you know, if we measured from this lower high trend line, another 3 or maybe 3.5% gain before the Russell also starts to correct. So I said before that wave 3, if you take a look at wave 3, 4, you would typically see a negative divergence moving into wave 5. So wave 5 could actually end a little bit higher here. So I'm not sure exactly if this nested is going to the end of this whole rally here, or if just going to be a smaller correction here, and then we could see another leg up here to finish the large degree wave 5, right? So I do think that the Russell still has some leg up here, and as well as the DXY. But if you take a look at the S&P and the NASDAQ, they are exhausted at this point. So that's going to provide another or more buying opportunities ahead. So that was it with the major indices. Just a quick look here. Let's also take a look at Bitcoin here and see how BTC is performing. Now, this is a consolidation range that we have here. Typically, you would see something like this within wave 4. Okay, it takes longer to materialize, and I am in the camp here that wave A has been completed, wave B here. And so we're looking at wave C. Where could wave C end? We do have the 100% projection here and potentially 1.618. So we're looking at 2 levels here. We also have this anchor weave up here that's acting as support for now. So we could see another breakout here from this level, or we're correcting a little bit towards looking at around 29,800, or worst case scenario 28,650, around that range. So, you know, you could look at the RSI here. We're still fairly, you know, above that neutral level. We're still seeing fairly high RSI levels here. So taking a breather here towards 1.618 would seem reasonable. So, you know, it depends. If we're getting a solid breakout here with strong volume, I would go long here. And I don't think then that with all the buying action, I don't think this thing is going to go lower. So I'm just going to wait and see here, maybe placing a limit order right there. And so we're looking at some levels here, but this potentially could go up here to 34,000 or maybe 35,000. That would close the CME gap at the top here. And we also have this anchored weave up right here that could act as resistance. So for now, we're waiting for wave C to materialize, and then we can project where wave 5 is going to end. Ethereum is looking, you know, it's looking exhausted. There are 2 ways we can look at this. We have wave 3 ended here, or we could look at this as an A, B, C here, right? So that this would be an expanded. If this would be wave 4, then we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we could end wave 5 here, or we could potentially have ended wave 5 here, and we could see a correction to this level here before grinding higher here for Ethereum. So that's pretty much it here with the market indices and Ethereum, Bitcoin. I do think that we can see a bifurcated market here. We've seen this a couple times where crypto markets are performing or outperforming, and then the major indices sort of like catches up at some point. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin grinding higher very soon to complete wave 5. And so that was it. Just a quick video here where I think the markets could be headed this week. Take a look at, close eye on the DXY and the 10-year. If we're getting, you know, sharp rally here on the 10-year, and the DXY should follow through towards the upside as well. And so yes, that was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and you can follow me on Twitter. I do post whenever I go long. There are some certain stocks or cryptocurrencies I'm looking at, and so if you want to get an idea what I'm trading, you can follow me on Twitter, and I post my entries, my stop losses, etc. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.